Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at something, well, pretty small, but incredibly powerful. The DBX580 microphone preamp. It's a module in the 500 series format, and our mission for this deep dive is to really unpack a secret. How does DBX cram the performance of a full rack unit into something you can hold in your hand?
That's the key question, isn't it? And what's so interesting is that its goal isn't to add a sound or a color. It's all about what they call sonically transparent gain.
Okay, sonically transparent. Break that down for us.
I mean, it's about fidelity. If you spend a lot of money on a really detailed microphone, you want to hear that microphone. This preamp's job is to just make it louder without adding its own personality. It reveals the detail, it doesn't cover it up.
Got it. So let's explore the toolkit they give you. The main function is obviously gain, and it provides up to 60 dB of it. But with that much clean gain, you need to manage the signal properly on the way in. What are the essential controls here?
Well, you get the absolute must-haves for any professional setup. There's the plus 48V phantom power, for condenser mics, of course, and then a polarity invert button, which is critical for fixing phase issues when you're using multiple mics. And then, maybe most importantly, there's a 20 dB pad. That little button is key. It lets the maximum input level go all the way up to a staggering plus 35 dB.
Wait, plus 35. What does that amount of headroom actually mean for someone in the studio?
It means you have this massive buffer, a huge safety net. You can stick a mic right up against a snare drum, a blaring guitar amp, even a shouting vocalist, and you don't have to be afraid of overloading the input.
So no ugly digital distortion.
None. It just gives you room to breathe. Oh, and for convenience, they also added a 1/4-inch instrument input right on the front panel, so you can plug a bass or guitar straight in, no DI box needed.
Okay, so this is where the 580 starts getting really versatile. It's not just a utility box, it actually offers sound shaping. We see a variable low-cut filter, which is pretty standard, but then it has these low and high detail equalization controls. That name sounds very specific. Are these more surgical than a normal EQ?
They absolutely are. That name is very intentional. These aren't for broad, sweeping changes to the tone. Think of them more like a scalpel than a paintbrush.
So for fine-tuning.
Exactly. You can add just a touch of air on the high end, or a little bit of punch in the low mids. It's about enhancing the character that's already there, not creating a new one. It's surgical refinement right in the preamp stage.
And if you're making adjustments that subtle, you have to be able to trust your monitoring, what's built in, to make sure we're not clipping that finely tuned signal.
The monitoring is really well thought out. You get a vintage-style VU meter, which is great for seeing the average level. It's got that classic feel. But for those fast, dangerous peaks, there's also a separate peak indicator light. So the combo lets you ride the signal level confidently, knowing you'll get a clear warning before you get into trouble.
Let's get into the specs then. A lot of companies claim low noise. What are the specific numbers on the DBX580 that actually back up that claim of transparency?
The numbers are genuinely impressive for this format. We're talking about an equivalent input noise, or EIN, that's typically better than minus 128 dBu.
Minus 128.
Yeah.
For our listeners, what does that practically translate to when you're tracking a very quiet source?
It translates to silence. When you're recording, say, a delicate acoustic guitar or an intimate vocal, and you crank the gain, you hear the performance, not a layer of hiss from the electronics. It's the noise floor you'd expect from a much, much larger unit. And the other numbers support that. The distortion, or THD plus noise, is typically less than 0.006%. So basically inaudible. And the frequency response is almost perfectly flat from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. The tone that goes in is the tone that comes out. Uncolored.
So when you put it all together, the DBX580 is this detailed, transparent, and really versatile tool that's built for the modular world. It's delivering premium performance in the smallest possible format.
It is. And it really raises a final provocative thought for any modern studio owner. Given its tiny one-slot size and its incredibly low power draw, we're talking just 2.56 watts, you have to ask yourself, how does a design like this fundamentally change your approach to building a signal chain? It allows for a density and a level of customization that traditional rack gear just can't match. Something for you to think about.